Hi guys, I've heard some pretty ironic interviews in my lifetime, and this has to be, well, at least in the top 5. So Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party and the leader of the official opposition, of course, was interviewed by the BBC about her life as a teenager. And what she says here, while she thinks it's a continuation of her character as an adult, somewhat contrasts instead. Have a listen.
I wasn't just the swot in the class. I was the person who would say that person is copying notes from the other person. I was the tattletale in the class, like getting people into trouble. Because even then I hated cheating, because there I was. I wanted to be first in the class, and I've done all the work. And then there's some people who are copying notes, and so why should they get away with it? And so I'd raise up my hand. I remember there was this extraordinary day. I was in, I must have been about 14 or 15, and I said, he's cheating. I stood up in the middle of the exam, and I stood up and said, he's cheating. He's the one that's doing it. And that boy ended up getting expelled. And I didn't get praised for it. And I was a relatively popular kid at school. And people said, why did you do that? Why would you do that? And I said, because he was doing the wrong thing. And someone said, you don't belong here. That you don't know how to behave, you don't belong here. And I've heard that all my life. You don't follow the rules, you don't do what you're supposed to, you're always sticking your head above the parapet, you're too direct, you tell the truth when you don't need to tell the truth, when you should pipe down. And I didn't belong there.
Hang on a second. So you're 14 years old, and in the middle of an exam...
14, 15.
14 or 15, you see a boy cheating in the middle of an exam, in the middle of an exam hall, you stand up and you snitch on this kid who's cheating, who ends up getting expelled.
Yes.
No wonder you're so unpopular back at school. You sound really annoying.
I was. Do you know what? The people who did that sort of thing hated it, but someone did say to me...
It was the right thing to do.
Yeah, that you were the only person who'd ever have the guts to do that.
Okay, so first of all, do you believe that this incident happened? I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But it doesn't make a lot of sense, because Kemi Badenoch is trying to sell the idea that she's still like that, she hasn't changed since her teenage years. She stands up for what is right. She calls out liars, charlatans, and crooks. But there are a few problems with that, because first of all, when Kemi Badenoch was was a member of Parliament some years ago, she hacked into, I believe she was an MP at the time, but she hacked into a Labour MP's website and wrote wrong information about them. She wrote positive things about the Conservative Party. Does that sound like somebody who would stand up in the middle of an exam and call out a cheat? Then if we go to the next one, which would be, of course, Brexit. She still believes Brexit was a good idea. She campaigned for Brexit. Brexit was based on lies. Did she call out the liars, charlatans, and crooks? No, she joined them. And then probably the icing on the cake, Boris Johnson. She defended Boris Johnson during Partygate, knowing that he was breaking the rules. Does that sound like the Kemi Badenoch as a teenager who would stand up in the middle of an exam and say this guy is cheating? Boris Johnson, she defended Boris Johnson at every turn. Recently, when she was business secretary, she was lying about Canada. The Canadian government said, look, the negotiations had collapsed because of the British government, and she was lying about that. Does this once again sound like somebody who calls out liars, charlatans, and cheats? No. She either engages in it herself or she defends it. This is why it's so ironic, and this is why I highly doubt that Kemi Badenoch at school was somebody who was calling out the liars, cheats, and charlatans, because it doesn't match her character today. Or maybe she had a road to Damascus conversion and then became a liar, charlatan, and a cheat. She realized, hey, if you want to get on in politics, you don't be a good person, you be a terrible person. And the greatest party for liars, charlatans, and cheats is the Conservative Party. That's where you succeed. And that's what she wants to do today. Once again, as leader of the Conservative Party, engaging in misinformation, lying, cheating, and being a charlatan. So what happened to Kemi Badenoch, the teenager? When did she cease to exist? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.